Welcome back to the Pulse of College Football on Fox College Sports. I'm Yogi Roth, and we are at the midpoint of this season, and it felt like the season opener was just yesterday. But here we are 6 weeks in, and 13 teams are undefeated. 3 teams in the top 10 are from non-BCS qualifying conferences, and well, let the debating begin. There's 12 players who are Heisman worthy right now, and a variety of teams are knocking on the door for that national championship invitation. Well, it was a dramatic weekend in college football, and the drama only gets bigger and bigger as we head into the second half of the season. So let's dive right in. Like we predicted here on the Pulse, Alabama got knocked off by South Carolina in Columbia. Alshon Jeffrey, he kept making ridiculous catch after ridiculous catch. Stephen Garcia finally lived up to the hype that he arrived on campus with. And that defense of South Carolina, they held Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson to 64 combined rushing yards. Now Alabama needs to respond and look for them to make a case through the second half of the season to be the one-loss team in the BCS National Championship game. Another game we predicted here on the Pulse, Michigan State upset Michigan in Ann Arbor. They picked off 3 passes by Nenard Robinson, and Kirk Cousins was outstanding. But more importantly, the head coach, Mark D'Antonio of Michigan State, returned to the game after suffering a heart attack 3 weeks ago. And also Florida State, well, they blew the doors off Miami as Christian Ponder made his case for the Heisman Trophy by throwing 2 touchdown passes over the weekend. The drama this weekend is even larger as #1 Ohio State heads to #16 Wisconsin. Camp Randall Stadium is one of the most hostile places in the entire nation to play, and that student section will be prime. But the defense of Wisconsin, they need to find a way to slow down Terrell Pryor of Ohio State. On how they plan on doing that and how they will not unravel in another big game, we bring in our expert from BadgerNation.com, Ben Wargel.
Stopping Terrell Pryor hasn't been an easy task for any of the Big Ten schools over the last 3 years, but the University of Wisconsin feels comfortable that if they get Pryor moving, they'll have a chance to beat him. 2 years ago, Wisconsin held Pryor in check until a late scramble on a defensive breakdown allowed Pryor to get the game-winning score. Last year, a dominant pass rush held Pryor to just 5 of 13 passing for only 84 yards, but 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns and a 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown helped Ohio State with a 31-13 victory. The key for the Badgers is to get Pryor moving.
Thanks, Ben. Now in the Big 12, we've got another huge matchup with Nebraska hosting Texas. It was just a year ago where Nebraska dominated the line of scrimmage and a loss to Texas. And for the Longhorns, well, they've got to find a way to respond from 2 straight losses. On how they do that, we bring in our expert, Kevin Flaherty from LonghornDigest.com.
Here in Austin, the Texas Longhorns are trying to recover from a 2-game losing streak and ensure that it doesn't become a 3-game losing streak against the ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers up in Lincoln this Saturday. How are they going to do that? Well, if you ask the Longhorn players, they're going to do it by being more assignment sound, getting in their run fits, and not turning the ball over. Keeping turnovers on a minimum is key against Nebraska's big play offense with Taylor Martinez, which is churning up the turf to 7.7 yards per carry. The Longhorns haven't lost 3 regular season games in a row since 1997, which aided the ouster of then-coach John Mackovic and ushered in the Mack Brown era in 1998.
Thanks, Kevin. Now in the SEC, we've got a great game as Arkansas heads to Auburn in a huge matchup at Jordan-Hare Stadium. For Arkansas, their quarterback Ryan Mallett is playing at an extremely high level. And for Auburn, Cam Newton has burst onto the national scene. And there's other great games like Michigan hosting Iowa, Kansas State heading to Kansas, and Washington, they've got to host Oregon State. But through it all, I'm going to be back in Colorado as the Baylor Bears come into town behind their big-time QB, Robert Griffin. Check it out on Fox College Sports at 7 p.m. Eastern. But throughout everything on Saturday, I want to hear from you. Remember, there's only 13 teams remaining in the country without a loss, so there will be a lot going on. Give me a shout via Twitter as we are here every week bringing you the pulse of college football on Fox College Sports.